Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to NMD United's virtual discussion on better researching practices, aka just Google it. So tonight we're here and we're mostly going to just kind of share tips and tricks for like great research for finding out policies and regulations and just information about programs and all of this stuff that we have that's out there in the world. And a lot of times it's just a matter of just knowing how to find it. And so I'm really happy because there are some people here that are very, very strong researchers. And so that's great. And then for me, I do have a couple of tricks that I want to share tonight. I hope that you guys have one or two that you'd like to share that you've learned. I know a lot of you are students, so maybe you'll have something to share as well, because students, that's what you guys do a lot. So that's about it. And I guess just before I start, I'll say one more thing. I was talking to my friend who I refer to as the Medicaid buy-in guru. Her name is Sarah, and she lives here in Austin with me. She's kind of an older lady, and she always jokes about her age. And anyway, we were meeting at the NMD United chapter meeting last month. She came and joined us for it, and we were talking. And her thing is, and she gets really frustrated because she says that she's not really a guru. It's just that she knows how to use Google. And she said that a lot of times people, treat her like she's this this huge, wealth of knowledge, and all she really knows how to do is just type it into the search and look. And that's how she really responds, is that people ask her a question, she Googles it, she finds it, and then she just copies and pastes the language and maybe interprets it for the people that need it. But she's not doing anything that's really miraculous, So, and I think Alana's smiling because Alana and I have had these conversations as well. And Alana is our guru very often. And so that's why I'm really happy you're here tonight. So I don't know, do you want to say something about that, Alana?
I have to, it's hard for me to decide how much of it is. I've been doing this advocacy work for a really, really long time. So I do know a lot. But the biggest part of it is using Google. It really is, because there's no way to stay up to date on all the regulation changes, or in a community like ours that's not just nationwide, it's international. You have to not be afraid to say, I don't know, let me look it up, and you just pull it up on Google and follow you often end up going down a rabbit hole. But I think it's fun. I like to solve the puzzle. So.
And I think it's interesting that you're bringing up the fact that it is a puzzle to solve. This is, it's a game, and I'll start out and share my, I guess, greatest Google moment in the last year. I'm going to actually see if I can find it. Hold on one second. I can find it, sort of. Okay. So I was meeting with my case manager for my attendant care. And this lady, she had a degree, I think. She's just nice, but if you put us, I just didn't know her job. I know that her job is not the most complex job in the world. I know what she's doing is not, but she's all powerful. She's controlling my hours. She's deciding how much of my income is going to go towards my copay for my attendant care. And I'm asking her questions, and she's not exactly giving me clear answers, and I'm getting frustrated because this is very dependent on my life and how I do everything. And so I was very, very frustrated, and she was talking to me about I think my copay. I was saying, like, you know, because what they do is they make me pay a percentage of my attendant care based on my income. And and they have ranges. So if you make between so-and-so and so-and-so, you have to pay this much. And so, like, obviously I want to know where I'm at. And I have my W-2s and I have everything in front of me, yet she's not telling me what my copay is. So she was having me sign all these forms. And I'm signing away, and then I'm like, I know this information is somewhere. Like, where are they getting this stuff? And so I was looking at my timesheet. In the very top little corner on the right side, it said, Texas Department of Aging and Disability Services, Form 30542/2-87. And I was like, huh. So I went to Google and I typed in Texas Department of Aging, form, and hit enter. And not only did I find that form online, I found the manual, the manual that discussed the program and the policy and like the rules and all the stuff she was trained on that she was ignoring or not really paying that close of attention to. Like, I found all the administrative law that the Department of Health and Human Services created to set up the program. And that allowed me to navigate the system. And so when she would come back and say, well, no, I'm sorry, you can't count that as a deduction, I would say, well, no. According to administrative law, blah, 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 it says right here that this will work. And it was like she got stuck. And basically I won. Like, I got what I needed. So, like, I am in that policy, and I'm digging so hard because they really make it hard in Texas. They don't like you to know about their programs. So, like, you have to like go down a rabbit hole and just dig and dig and dig and dig. And then right now I'm trying to find where there's an actual limit on the number of hours that PCAs can get. I'm trying to see where that's actually written because they keep telling me that I'm maxed out of hours, but I have a feeling it's not written. And so I need to go deeper. And then I also want to know what the reimbursement rate is for the state to pay these fiscal intermediate agencies that pay for the, so I want to know what the reimbursement rate is. So I've been digging and digging and digging. It's very difficult, but I'm getting somewhere. So that is my Google moment. Does anyone have any questions about what I did? No?
That's exactly what I do. I do this almost every day.
Yeah?
Because of my work, I'm doing advocacy work. But also dealing with my own bureaucracy. And the newest challenge has been there are so many forms to fill out, and social workers pop them in an envelope and mail them to you, but they're in a paper format, and some of us cannot write. And so I went to the forms at the little code number at the bottom, and I go to the bureaucracy's webpage that's responsible for making those forms, and I look up the form number, and I usually find out there is a form that I can fill out online and then print out so that my attendant doesn't have to be involved in filling out the forms. Having my attendants fill out forms violates my privacy, it wastes time, it wastes a whole lot of time. So, I'm really excited to be able to find them online.
Well, that's excellent. Thank you. So I did a good thing. I was proud of myself. So that's, and do you, so does anyone else have a Google tip or trick that they want to share? Something that they've done recently that has led to some pretty good findings?
I had one, I think.
Okay.
So when I was going through some buy-in stuff earlier this year, right around February, and I went to see an attorney who's supposed to specialize in Social Security and Medicaid law, and my family's used her in the past to navigate some things, but she's kind of the only attorney in this town that really for a long time specialized in this stuff. So I felt as though I was just kind of supposed to go to her. And while I was paying her $250 an hour to help me, every question I asked, she would just Google the answer to. And I got really frustrated because after I spent $500 on her, I realized she was pulling the same information that I was pulling. And I don't know who's here, but anyway, so after that, hey, John, how's it going? Hold on, I'm gonna be right back, everybody. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Can you mute and can you mute yourself? Just okay. Hi, Natalie. Thanks for coming, and thanks for coming, Crystal. And who else is here that I didn't get to say hi to yet? Okay, that's most everybody. How are you guys?
Hey, everybody.
Hi. So I was kind of curious as to what was it that Joe did or found, but he disappeared before the end of his story, so we'll have to come back and hear that to be continued at end of that. But we were just sharing like basically proud Google moments. Do you have a proud Google moment that you'd like to share, Natalie?
Yes, actually. So I was applying to an IT job that I didn't know how to even update my own computer for, and so I was only applying because my boyfriend was working in IT and I wanted to kind of combat him in that way. So I got the application and I Googled all the answers to the questions on the application, and I ended up getting hired and I'm still working there. But ever since then, I've been Googling my way through life.
Googling my way through life. That's funny. Well, good. I'm glad it helped you. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. Now, so I don't know how familiar you guys are with the Google Chrome browser. There's a hand raising function on this thing. You can click on it and say raise my hand, I think. Or you can just tell me what browser do you guys use to do your searches? Chrome, Explorer, Firefox, what's your thing?
I prefer Chrome.
Okay. What do you
I'm the same.
All right. What about you, Joey?
Safari, just because the voice recognition commands are built into Dragon, so I don't have to program anything.
Okay, that's good to know. Eric, what do you use? Oh, I don't think I can hear you. Maybe you can type it in the chat. What about you, Crystal? What browser do you tend to use?
I tend to use Safari. I'm a Mac user.
Okay, Safari. Okay, Natalie, what do you use?
I just use Chrome because I don't know anything else, but I'm learning with y'all.
Okay. All right. And okay, who else? Damien, what do you use?
I use Chrome.
You use Chrome. Okay. And then Suzanne, is it Suzanne? Hi, Suzanne.
Chrome.
You use Chrome, you said?
Eric typed in chat that he uses Chrome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Chrome, okay. And then Dawn, what do you use?
I use both Chrome and Firefox.
Okay. Okay, so I like Chrome a lot, although I can see if you're using voice recognition like Joey said and it's Safari's better, that might work good too. And I think most most browsers now allow you to type what you're looking for in the address bar. Do you guys do that ever?
Yeah.
That's good. I'm not good at this. Like, I have no really, like, I'm afraid I'm going to have a tip and everyone's going to be like, of course we do that, Emily, of course. So,
what I liked about Chrome, and I switched from Explorer to Chrome, is that it was very easy to enlarge pages quickly when things were small, or decrease them when things are too big. I also really like the file manager. I use the favorites menu a lot, and I divide things into different categories and subcategories. So I save everything I look up into different categories. So there might be a folder about SSI benefits and a separate folder for SSDI benefits, or if I'm helping someone in a different state, I might have all the Tennessee Social Service Program websites up, or, it's nice to be able to manage it. All the browsers have file managers, it's just whichever one you're most comfortable with. And I learned the Chrome one pretty easy.
sorry, I'm just muting here and there, but you can unmute yourself when you're ready to talk. I just want to try to avoid background noise if I can. So bookmarks, and that's another big, I'm not as organized as I'd like to be with my bookmarks, but I'm trying to see if I have, my bookmarks are ugly. I don't know if you're capable of, is anyone capable of doing a demonstration on or want to show their bookmarks at all, like share the screen and kind of show? Do all of you use bookmarks? Are you familiar with how to do it?
I can show mine if you want.
I would love to see yours, Joey.
Okay, I think this is the right button. Okay, let me get to it. Let's see. Here's mine. They're in order. I'm kind of obsessed that way. Like here, I have a bunch of assistive technology resources that I just found. Doing my own research, trying to find stuff.
So, all right. Could you show me, are you guys, do you have any questions about Joey's bookmark situation? Could you show us how you set up a bookmark and how you set up a folder?
Sure. Let's see. I'm using Chrome right now, so let's see. There it is. Add folder, and then you just go here.
How do you get to Bookmark Manager?
It's right here I'm using the Mac, so it's right here at the top. I'm not sure about Windows. It's basically the same in most of the programs too.
Right. It just takes a little bit of, and I mean, I'm sure if you Googled how to set up a bookmark in Firefox or how to set up a bookmark in Safari, you get a video on how to do that as well.
Yeah.
So you use the tab and then you drop down and then you set up new folders and I know that there is a way also to export bookmarks as well.
Yeah, I think it's here. I'm not sure with Chrome, but I know there's a way to do it. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know how to do it in Safari, but.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, bookmarks really help. And Alana, what would you say is the benefit of bookmarking or whatever?
Well, you don't have to hunt down something again.
Right.
I'm a big cook, so I have a whole food tab, and then in it I have recipes in different categories. And so, oh yeah, I made that recipe 3 months ago. It was a vegetable side dish, so I probably put it in my vegetable folder.
Right.
It's really nice to have things clicking on hand.
Right.
what I also really like is at work I can log on to my home email, my home Google account, and have access to all the same resources. So I don't have to research for everything when I'm at the office, since I do similar research at home as I do at work, especially regarding Medicaid buy-ins and label accounts, and I'm doing all this stuff on special needs trusts, and I just have it all at my fingertips no matter where I'm at, and having everything organized in folders is really helpful.
Okay. So does anyone have any questions as far as, like, I know we're getting started, but does anyone have any questions about some of the things that we've talked about so far, Googling based on, you know, looking for clues in the forms that we have, anything like that?
Well, I wanted to comment something I've noticed. For example, in our Living with MD group, a lot of people not only ask the same questions over and over again, they don't bother to use the search feature in the group.
Yeah.
I mean, and that drives me a little nuts, I have to say, because there's such a wealth of knowledge all the time. And I think people get lazy about doing the research themselves.
Right. Maybe we should, I can go into the group right now, and we can show off some of those features of where things are to find the files that are in the group and things like that.
And that would be helpful, but I wanted to finish my comment that when you have a question you post to the group, it's also the same question you can ask Google. What is there a Medicaid buy-in in Alabama? You know, so you type Medicaid buy-in, and then you might get some Medicaid buy-in Alabama, and you might get some conflicted information. You should discover that there are Medicaid buy-ins for Medicare beneficiaries, and that's different than what we're talking about when we're talking about being a working disabled person. So then you go, okay, Medicaid buy-in Alabama, working disabled, and all of a sudden, there it is, or there it's not, and it's very clear. You might actually get a letter that it was discussed in the legislature and never passed in some states, but then you find the other 36 states that have the Medicaid buy-in. So, I mean, a lot of times people ask questions, it's like, wow, didn't you doodle it? Like, what are the side effects of augmentin? You're much more likely to get accurate information from WebMD than you are from a bunch of us. You know, I mean, there's some obvious things that I'm surprised people don't search the internet first before asking a bunch of people who may or may not give them bad information.
One thing I learned recently also is, like, that's another thing, is like how to decipher between the accurate stuff, the inaccurate stuff, the stuff that, you know, is like the Snopes stuff, and like, and a lot of times, like, you know, I often copy and paste entire paragraphs that I find on the internet. And like, for instance, if like teachers do this all the time to figure out if somebody's plagiarizing. They just take, you know, a paragraph of text and copy and paste it into Google. And if that paragraph is in there, it will show up on your Google search as like from the source that it came from. And so I remember a friend of mine, her husband, who I wasn't a fan of, he was constantly writing like poetry, and people were like, oh my God, that's such a beautiful poem. Like, that's amazing. And I was like, that guy didn't write that. And so I copied and pasted the poems that he was writing into Google, and it was being attributed to like a whole other person. And I was really annoyed, and I was like, you're not, it's very easy to kind of research and figure out where stuff is coming from, and not to be afraid to just like clip whole paragraphs or whatever. Another thing I've also noticed is like looking at the spelling of things. Like if I type in like, I'm trying to think of an example. For instance, I got in an argument with my friend about the University of Texas. Was the word "the" capitalized? And she was saying that when you write about the University of Texas, you have to capitalize the T. And it was, or something like that. And it's true. But it was funny. We would have arguments about stuff like that, and then we would just type it and see what the most searches were on Google. And if the search history was higher, that was the appropriate way of saying it or the way of writing it, and things like that. So it was funny just to see what the research results was, and that was like your confirmation. Like if you want to know like how to phrase something or something like that, I found that it's just really easy to just look at the search results. So let us see. Dawn, you always have good questions. Do you have a question about researching that you want to ask? I don't know if she heard me.
Sorry about that, Emily. I was had some noise going on in my room, and so. But anyway, well, actually, I did want to ask. I think maybe it was Alana who had said you are able to log into your Gmail account and pull up your bookmarks. So is that like, so within Chrome, if you just save a bookmark in Chrome, and then you're logged in and then save the bookmark, is that how you do that?
Yeah, what happens is you have a Google ID. Google Plus is where you register your Google ID and your password, which is affiliated with your email account. And UPS is knocking at my door. And hopefully they go away. Okay, they're going away. Thank you. So what happens, I go to work, and we have our own separate email system at work. It happens to be a Gmail account system. So I just log into my email at work, and then I add my personal email account. Or I just pull up a separate browser and log into my personal email account through Google, and then I have access to everything at home. I have my personal email at home. I have my contact list, because I use the address book for everything, for everybody's names and addresses and phone numbers and email addresses, birthdays, whatever. I even keep notes about phone calls I make. So if I'm dealing with a particularly annoying vendor, all my notes of my phone calls with that vendor are in my Google address book and in the notes section. And then I open up the browser and I have all my home bookmarks right there, even though I'm on a different computer. But it's not computer specific, it's account specific. I'm also able to log on to everything on my phone. So I have my Google account networked with my Android phone, and it's fabulous. So I have everything wherever I go.
Thank you. That was helpful. And the other thing I like about Chrome, and I don't know if you use this either, Alana, but I like to save tabs. Like if I've got a session, and I like that, like if ever the session crashes, that Chrome pulls those back up. And Firefox, I had an extension that I added, and it does something similar. And I know that's not exactly researching, but if you are researching a topic and you have several tabs open, that can be also very helpful. So I guess that would be like a tip.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you. Does anybody else have any like questions, tips that they want to ask? Oh yeah, go ahead, Damien.
Yeah, I found this like infographic a couple years ago. It's about like how to Google better. I can share it with you guys. It's
Can you post it on the Facebook group with the
yeah,
photo?
I'll do that too. Like you're able to search within specific sites on Google, like depending on how you type it in, you can exclude terms or make it so that it searches related words. If you type like a tilde before the word, you can search different file types like PDF or Word document. There's all kinds of tricks you can do. And, I could share that document.
I would love that, please. And you can just share it to this event page if you want.
I will, yeah.
And then, and I hope, does everybody here, do you know where the files are in Living with MD? Do you know how to search in Living with MD for information, past information and past posts and stuff?
I actually don't know how to do that, Emily. I know how to find the files, but I'm not sure if I know how to search for old topics because I've wanted to do that before and didn't know how to do it.
Okay.
Well, Emily's pulling that up. I wanted to add to what Damien said. Even the most simple addition, when you're typing something into the Google search field, and you just put a minus sign, a hyphen, directly before a word, you can say, I want everything about Medicaid buy-ins minus Medicare. And then it will eliminate all the pages that discuss Medicare, which is really nice. It helps you narrow down your search. If you're looking for a dress, but I don't want any red dresses, you can write, short party dress minus red. And then you shouldn't get red dresses in your search.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it sounds like what Damien
I'm sorry, I shared the infographic on the conference chat.
And that has even more tips than just the minus, right, Damien?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. You can even search like a specific author if you need to.
I'll share the screen right now. And then you guys can bookmark this if you want. Wait there. Was that it? Is that it? Oh, okay. That was interesting. So get more out of Google, tips and tricks. So this is really nice. So, oh, this is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's helped me a lot. I've had this link for a while.
Yeah, I was trying to find someone on Doodle yesterday, and he spells his name very specifically. His first name is Coleman, and most people spell Coleman C-O-L-E-M-A-N, but I wrote, his name is spelled C-O-L-M-A-N with no E in the middle, so I put it in quotes. So it was so that makes it very specific. If you put a word or a phrase in quotes, then it will only give you things that are spelled or phrased exactly like that.
Right, and it'll also search for, like if you want it phrased exactly that way and no other way, it'll put it, if you put the quote in a phrase, that'll help as well. So I'm kind of terrible. I mean, I do the quotes a lot. I don't use the tilde very much. I don't do related words very well. But this looks really cool because it does give you a lot of in title. Oh, so I've never done in title before. Only shows results that word and title. So in this case, velocity. So you're just looking at, that's wild.
Yeah, like if you remember only like part of a title, you can use that in title and it'll be more likely to bring that up first.
Okay. And then,
I didn't know that. That's really awesome.
Yeah, and then let's look at this file type with the PDF. So you can look for the type of file you want, and that's awesome. And then swallow, what does that mean? Replaces itself with, so the asterisk replaces itself with common terms in your search. So, okay. So it'll do like other synonyms for that word. That's fantastic. So, okay. Well, so this is a very useful document. I'm going to bookmark it or favorite it, actually. Well, see, so when I favorite it, I hit that little star right there, and that's where I type in like Google tips, and I'll put it in my bookmarks bar, and I could probably create a folder for it. I have to figure that out. New folder, research, save, and now it's in my, it should be in my research folder, which I don't know where that is right now, but I'll find it. I'm kind of bad at organizing all my bookmarks and stuff. Oh, here it is. It's up here under my address bar. So I used to do this a lot more than I do now, but when I was a student, I was much better at this. But yeah, so in my research folder, I have this Google Tips infographic. Thank you so much, you guys. Crystal, I saw your hand up. Do you have a question?
Okay, there we go.
And also, it's very nice to meet you. And oh, by the way, and congratulations on your recovery. And you look really good.
Thank you. Okay. Instead of using bookmarks, I use bookmarks forever. Had all my subfolders of stuff. I started using Pinterest for a lot of stuff because you can. I'm visual, so if I see something on a website, like if I'm looking at equipment or something, instead of bookmarking all the pages, I will pin the pictures of what I'm thinking of, because then if I'm trying to go back and find exactly what it looked like, I don't have to open every website. I could just open up what do you call it? My Pinterest boards and find a picture of what it was and then go back to the website.
Could you show us, like, could you show us one of your Pinterest boards? Could you show
I have Pinterest for everything, even like recipes, like what what's her name was just talking about. Let me look.
I'm gonna follow you on Pinterest now.
How many of you guys, just out of curiosity, how many of you guys are Pinteresters?
So I'm not. I don't use Pinterest. I have a question about it. For example, you find something online that you want to pin. So you pin it on your board. Does it have a link affiliated with it, or do you have to figure it out and find it all over again?
There's a link. Let me see. Let me post my public page. It's actually my business page. I throw everything in here though. There we go. But on Pinterest, you can make private boards. So I have several private boards of stuff that I'm just using for mental notes, not for like public stuff.
I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna share your screen, okay? I think it's this one.
Wait,
right.
You can see my screen?
Yeah, I'm sharing your board.
Okay. This is off of your, I'm like, are you on my computer?
No. Okay. No, you just posted the link to your board, and so
let me see. I'm trying to think of what I have that's public.
I don't want to. No, go. Sorry.
Are you on Pinterest or no?
I'll just connect with Facebook, and hopefully it'll leave me alone.
Okay.
It won't. Yeah. Okay. Let's just go. All right. Okay. All right. Why did I lose you all of a sudden? Now I'm in this.
Probably because it logged you in general instead of. Click my page again, and then it should come back.
All right. I'll pull it up in the chat. Hold on a second. I hope. What is going on? Okay. Okay, Pinterest. We're kind of done. Okay. Let me go back to your page. Let me find the chat. Oops. Hold on. I'm going to click that again. Sorry. All right. Share screen. You have 3.9 thousand followers?
Yeah.
You're fancy.
Well, it's because I use it for my business.
Wow. Okay. So, all right. So these are, so I guess
I have random stuff on here just because it's, a lot of it's work. And then I have a bunch of private boards that nobody can see. Where I'll add other stuff. I'm trying to think of what I've got that's a good example. if you go down to, let's see, what do I?
Low carb ketogenic. You want to go here? Want to just go here as an example?
Yeah, that's recipes, for instance.
Or GIMP accessible homes.
Yes, that was me finding random stuff.
All right, so you were online and you were looking up stuff that was for your accessible homes. So you basically set up like a folder, just like you would like a bookmark folder. And these are all the bookmarks, right?
Yes, so these are like ideas or pictures or products that I found, so I can go back to them.
So this is like your dream board. Like you're like, oh, this is like something I really like. Okay, so let's say you want to go and actually order this. Like let's say you want this bathroom. How do you get back to that?
Well, that one's probably, if you go over to, let's see, what's on here? That tub. If you click the tub, it should take you to the website that sells it. No, not that tub, the one next to it. This is just ideas. Because sometimes it goes back to a blog, sometimes it goes back to a store. It depends on where the website was.
Okay, so for some of them, you can go back. Oh, it's just $7,909.
Yeah, only.
I like that though. It's got a really nice wide door. Sorry, this is not really the point of this whole thing, but okay.
Well, here's the thing though. I mean, you get something like that, and here's a good research tip. And you're saying, oh, that looks kind of neat. It's wide. It looks accessible. But then you do a search on consumer reviews, and you'll find out that a lot of those bathtubs, the gasket starts leaking, and they need to be replaced more than once a year. So like that's a research thing. You start somewhere, and then you go, oh, well, how well does this work? And you might type in the name of the product, and then in quotes, consumer reviews. And then you'll find reviews for that specific product.
Right, and obviously if it takes you back to that site, you don't want to read those reviews because those are the reviews that are always good.
Yeah.
So Pinterest is a really great way to bookmark visually. I think I need to embrace it more. I'm kind of lazy about Pinterest for some reason. Oh, she's a cutie. Anyway, so that's one thing. And then I want to kind of show you guys how to find files on Facebook in our Living with MD group and how to search the group. So I'm going to do that right now too. Oh, let's see. I'm going to have to mute, or somebody's going to mute, but okay. So let's see. Oops, stop share. I did that wrong. All right, let's see here. Okay. All right, so here we are back in Living with MD. And up here under, can you see me in my mouse? Can you see my mouse? Yeah, okay. So up here, you got your discussion, you've got the members. So, I mean, we don't always research this stuff, but you can research, and it says right here, like, one time people wanted to know who the admins were so they could complain. And so if you click on that tab, these are the admins. And then members, 958 members. And then, I mean, you can research this, but it's kind of cool to see who added people and like who, when they joined and stuff like that. And it's kind of fun. And then you can do it by alphabetical or their join date, which is kind of nice. What happens if I do join date? Does it show the earliest numbers? That would be great. So, oh, cool. So, I mean, I think I'm one of the earliest. So I could spend all day clicking, but anyway, it's kind of fun to see when your Living with MD anniversary is. And then you can always find a member in here. And then we got our events, and the events are, I tend to use this a lot to post the hangouts. And then, obviously our photos. And one thing I love about photos is, you got your photos, but you got the videos. And a lot of it, I've posted videos before. And some of these videos are kind of cool. Like here's the lift that I do. And there's a lot of interesting kind of like introductions and just cool videos that we initially, when we first started this group, we did like introductions. And so you can see some of us. It's kind of a fun thing to go look back on. And then I don't think we have any albums though. Do we have any albums? I haven't even looked. Yeah, we have a couple. I think so. We have an album of respiratory equipment. That's very, very sexy. And then here we go in files. This is the fun stuff. This is all the stuff that's been uploaded in our files. And you can upload files as well and share documents. So when we've done, you know, holiday exchanges, PCA files, you know, all this stuff is really good. You can create a doc or you can upload a file of your own. And so a lot of the stuff is, you know, very helpful. A lot of like ad writing stuff is in here and things like that. So poetry, I think. I uploaded some Medicaid buy-in stuff, benefits and work incentives, essential supports for employment. So yeah, we have some good stuff in here. A lot of people are taking that albuterol or salbuterol stuff. So the trials are in here. So it's kind of nice. And then if you search the group, what would be a good word we could search for?
I keep having to look up stuff like ventilator battery.
Okay, I'll type in that. So you can. I'm going to go back to the discussion page because you can type. You can search in the discussion page. So ventilator battery. Now, could you theoretically like put quotes around it, and would it do the same thing like Google does?
It's not as fancy of a search engine. I haven't found it for quotes matter, but it does help narrow things down. If you remember that Becky Donahoe posted a picture of her husband's battery setup. So I might add her name in my search.
Oh, so you could do like ventilator battery and
Becky.
Becky.
No, I wouldn't write Anne. I would just write Becky. And she's in the comment section. Unfortunately, it doesn't show all the comments. You have to open them up.
You have to open the comments and find it. But there she is. And there's the magic ventilator bag. Okay.
Yep, so that's how I use it. I try to remember who said it or whose post it was. And I try to remember the phrasing that they used.
I mean, if I type in, what is it, salbuterol, like that?
Mm-hmm.
If I type that in, oh, well, all right, since you mean albuterol, we'll go there. But, like, this is hilarious because, I mean, this has been a very big topic as of late, and there's a lot of results from people that have asked the same question over and over. But it's interesting because here we actually have a lot of empirical, you know, and like kind of, you know, empirical evidence. Whereas when I typed albuterol on Google, or when I typed albuterol and spinal muscular atrophy or albuterol and neuromuscular, there was like nothing to be found. So like it's kind of interesting because sometimes the searches in our own group are more valuable than Google.
Yeah, and you have to start, and when you're using Google for something like albuterol, then you have to write minus asthma, minus cystic fibrosis, minus, eventually your whole post is, I mean, you're trying to narrow it down. It's albuterol so big and broad. A lot of the academic papers are locked up in secure websites, so you can't even get them on Google without paying for subscriptions.
Yeah, sometimes everybody wants to add to the Jeff Foxworthy thread that you know you have a neuromuscular disease when you blah, blah, blah. And that's hard to find because it gets buried. So if you just search for like Jeff Foxworthy, you'll find the thread and you can add to it. And that's kind of how it comes back to life every now and then. So it's got like over 1,000 comments. So it's kind of a fun thread. That's my, to see every now and then.
Emily, this is Dawn. I'm sorry, but I just, Alana said something and I thought of a question, and that is, since I've been out of college, I very much miss having that access to being able to research peer-reviewed journals. And so as another question about how others do research, are there any, does anyone have any experience finding ways to be able to access that, those kinds of things, like at a lower cost, or are there any resources like that? Because sometimes if you actually do want to do a really academic search like that with a peer-reviewed journal, not just Google, has anyone been able to do that?
I have. One of the first places I start is at a website called worldcat.org. World Catalog, it means. And it's just a giant library catalog. And it literally has everything that's in every library's catalog, whether it's a university catalog, a private library catalog at a corporation, et cetera, et cetera. It's a very amazing database. And what I do is I search there to find out where it is. And oftentimes, because I live in a metropolitan area, I'm able to use my local library that often has free lending relationships with those private institutions or those universities, etc. So if you start at WorldCat to find out where the articles are, and then ask your local librarian. In California, but I can use my city library, Berkeley, which is a university town, and the city library has a relationship with the university library, and what's fabulous is the San Francisco Public Library will let any resident of California check things out either at the libraries or online. So right now I'm taking Spanish classes for free using Rosetta Stone, which costs $400+ on the San Francisco Public Library website. So you have to find out what resources are available in your state and in your local area. But that's a pretty good place to start, worldcat.org. And I'll type that into the chat.
There's also Google Scholar, which is scholar.google.com. And they're like improving rapidly on recent publications, and you can type in PDF. It lists, besides the keywords that result from your search, whether or not they have the full PDF of the scholar works or whatever. And I'm sure you know how to do like academic searches overall from there.
I think that it's also, we have in Living with MD a bunch of librarians, and we also have, and if you know a librarian, they love helping out with this kind of stuff. Like, and you ask any librarian in the world to like help you find, they totally enjoy that. They should. That's their job, So, embrace your local library and, really, it's a resource that I think is so kind of underutilized by us. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that it's hard to get to them and transportation is difficult, but they have so much online nowadays that I think if you develop a relationship with your local librarian, they will often like work with you maybe over the phone or, do stuff from like distance to help you get what you need. And then also befriend your friends that are possibly in college or people living with MD, because I'm taking graduate classes right now, so I have access into, my database at the college, and, and I have a friend who's getting her PhD at another college, And she, you know, if I ever need anything, I'm like, hey, can you get me 3 articles on this, this, and this? And she's like, oh yeah. She just goes in, searches it, pulls it up. And like PhD candidates are excellent at that stuff. That's all they do. You know, people getting their law degree, which is like half of living with MD, they're really, really strong at researching. So I think if you just use your human resource friends as well, you know, use them sparingly, maybe like 1 or 2 every now and then, you know, don't keep hassling the same people. But, you know, I bet we could get, you know, people to share and help pretty easily. So Joe, glad you're back. I want to hear the rest of your Google miracle story.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I had a cousin who I haven't seen in about a year, and he just kind of randomly walked into my house.
Oh my gosh, that's cool. I bet you want to hang out with him.
Yeah, I did for a little bit, but he's out running to the store real fast, so
okay.
I kind of had a little second. So yeah, like I said, the attorney was just Googling my questions, and it was just the same stuff I'd read online. And it kind of sounded too good to be true what she was saying. But, you know, I thought to myself, well, she's an attorney, so she should know, I guess. But I still had my doubts, only because I know how stupid the government can be. And when something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So when I went to go sign up for the buy-in program and take the info she gave me and kind of implement it, everybody was acting like it was no big deal. Just sign up for it. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of hoops that you have to jump through. And it took me, you know, asking the right questions to figure out that she wasn't right, I guess. And maybe there were a lot of hoops that I had to jump through, but it was kind of nerve-wracking because none of the people who were working the buy-in program office or this attorney caught any of these like loopholes that I was able to find just by knowing how Medicaid works. And then because of that, I got onto Living with MD and was able to get help from Carrie Ann Lucas, who then put me in touch with a bunch of advocates here in town, and they're now walking me through the process. And everything's going to work out fine, but it kind of reinforced my confidence in myself for researching, because I was able to catch stuff that the attorney and these caseworkers weren't able to catch, even though it's their job to catch them. And so I kind of was just, you know, saying that everyone is Googling, whether they're getting paid for it or whether they're just us. People are Googling, and it just takes time to sift through and find everything. But I was really proud of myself for not just listening to them telling me it would be easy, because I just didn't believe it. And I was proud that I actually went and looked into it further, because otherwise I would have been pretty screwed. So, but I was paying them $500 to Google for me. So.
Well, yeah. I think that's important to avoid getting so panicked about it that you forget your own self as a resource. Like I think that sometimes it's just so tempting to just get someone else to do the work and find the answers. And you can, you know, and when you start paying for that, I think that's when you really come to terms with the fact that it's just time for you to just sit down and do it, you know? Like most of the people that we ask for help with Googling are people that are too nice to say, well, you know, this is like taking up my time, and it's like, you know, if they were to say, I'll do it, but I'll do it for $20. You know what I mean? I think everyone would sit there and go, well, no, I'll just type it in myself. Thanks. You know what I mean? And so like, I think that it's just easier just to kind of, you know, do it yourself sometimes, even though it's so scary and kind of daunting. It sometimes just ends up being better and more economical.
Well, I'm fortunate enough to have a job and agency that pays me. to do advocacy work for my clients for free. I do have a private practice where I assist people with stuff, and it's a blurry line. I help a lot of people in the Living with MD group for free. I'll answer questions. But sometimes people will get really abusive about it. And they'll not only they'll ask me what they should do or how to find this information, they'll ask me the same questions over and over because they didn't write down what I told them before, or they didn't save the notes I gave them before. Or I'll say, well, first you need to read this, and then I'll answer your questions. And they're not willing to do that work. And then I very quickly explain that my fees are $30 to $80 an hour, and they kind of disappear, which is the way I handle that. But I mean, I kind of make the monster sometimes by helping people a lot. But I do that for my own edification.
Right.
I like when people ask me questions because it helps me hone my research skills, and I know way more about the North Carolina Medicaid buy-in than I ever wanted to know. But now I can answer questions about it, and that's a pretty cool skill to have in my field. So but it's a fine line, and you have to figure out when people are getting lazy and just expecting you to do everything for you and taking advantage of you.
Right. Right. So we haven't heard from everybody. So does anybody have anything that they want to add or ask? Or Eric, Suzanne? I'm trying to think. Anybody else want to bring up something or bring up a point about their research or?
Well, I in addition to the bookmarking that y'all were talking about, I don't like to sit at the computer and read all the things that I've combined into my research hunk all the time. And instead I'll save it to my Pocket, which is an app that's kind of like Pinterest without the social networking aspect of it and without the boards or categorization of it. It's just one flat collection of things that you can download onto your phone through your computer, because you can have it as an app form and it is a Chrome extension is what it's called, yeah. And by pressing a button, it'll be saved to your Pocket, and you can access these articles through the website getpocket.com, where you have your account and all of your saved articles, and you can look at them and read them on your phone.
Well, that's good. Thank you for that. That's a good tip. Thank you for Alana for coming and joining us. You were I'm so happy you came, and it's good to see the guru. So thank you.
Bye guys, thank you.
Bye.
So any other points? Anything else that you guys, Eric, do you have anything you want to add, or what brought you here tonight? Oh wait, you were having trouble with your mic. Shoot, I forgot about that. Sorry, my eye, my face is oily, and when I touch my eye, the oil from my face goes in my eye, and it starts this spiral of pain. So I'm dealing with a current spiral of pain right now. So anyway, yeah. Any other questions? I need to go get my Kleenex.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is Suzanne.
Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, on your site, and maybe you went over this, but how you find specific topics, for instance, previous topics instead of what's currently being discussed. Is it you just type it in?
So you mean on Living with MD?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go back to it. Let's talk about that for a second again. I'll go back.
I mean, I saw the files like under that section. Is that where you would find previous topics
No,
discussed?
if you want to look at discussion, you'll search under just the, here, let me show you. Sorry, and plus you don't want to look at me. I'm like my eyes all shut now and I'm going through my spiral of pain. Okay. So here you are, and like, give me a topic that you were interested in.
Like pain, like neck pain, let's say.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to search.
Okay, okay.
And then I type in at the top neck pain.
So that's it, and then you would just go through all the comments and there
you see how the words are highlighted? Kills my neck. You know what I mean? And then you just kind of go through and see.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, it does help. I
yeah.
Kleenex, I'll be right back. Any other questions or?
Thank you.
No problem. I'm like crying right now. Okay.
My eyes do that all the time too, so.
I hate it. One time it happened while I was driving, and it
yes,
was,
yes.
I really had to stop my car. I was like, I was driving down the road, and I was like, I gotta pull over. I can't stop crying. Okay. And it's like one eye right now. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I've never been injured during a hangout before. Okay. All right. Bye, Joe. Thanks for coming. All right, Joe's here. Oh, and so nobody else, nobody other has any other questions? I'm sorry this isn't exactly the most enlightening hangout we've ever had. My librarian friends didn't show up, so I was kind of hoping they would come up and give us some good. Does anybody have any really good disability-related websites that they want to share, or something that they use a lot, like they go to and to find like administrative policies or rules or anything? No? No? Okay. Well, I can't think of anything. I'm on the internet all the time, and I'm constantly searching up stuff. I mean, I use Google Google's everything to me. It does it all. Does anyone know how to do image searches? Well, I mean, not image searches. I'm sorry, like what's the word I wanted to say? No, forget it. I'm not asking that question. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I was thinking about something where it's like image recognition, where you take a picture of something and then you can look for it. Have you heard about that? You like take a picture, like you could take a picture of a shower chair and then you'd put it, and then like there's a way to like find all.
Yeah, I know how to do that. Does anybody else want to show everybody?
I don't know how to do it. That's what I was wondering.
Okay. Let's see. I could here. Okay. So I have images.google pulled up. I guess I can create and share.
Sure.
All right. Google Images. Okay, so that's the one. Voila. And then you drag. Hold on. I don't think I'm doing this right. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Stop share. Whole screen. Okay. Leave this meeting. Cancel. Okay, and then you drag it like this, and then I did it wrong because I dragged it in the wrong place. But you have to drag it into this little area specifically, and then it'll tell you the title of something, and it says Ponyo, and that's the title of the film. Ponyo and
That's really cool.
That's the two characters in this cartoon.
That's if you get like an image offline and then you want to put it, like find out where it came from, right?
Yeah, and then if you have like a shower chair. What?
You could have put a picture of yourself in there and then it would find you?
Yeah, and if it's black and white, it's virtually untraceable, but common ones are the easiest ones to find.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for showing that. I didn't know you could do a reverse image. I did know that, but I just didn't know how, so thanks. I didn't realize it was that easy. That's kind of a cool tip.
I'm sorry, it can do like a facial recognition? Is that what you're saying? If it's color?
Yeah, as far as I know, when I've tried to look people up through Google Images, it doesn't, but I think Facebook.
I want to try it. Well,
Yeah.
But you know what I think though? I think if your file name it says like your if like let's say you put your headshot and you put your name as Emily Walensky as the file name, and then you did a reverse image search, it could probably pull up websites with your name in it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be able to just do it by the facial recognition though. It would have something to do with what the image was titled, right?
If it's common websites that you're using that pop up as one of the most searched on Google, it will be like, here's their profile. Because I've done that for when I was working for a matchmaking company, and we would try to find clients' faces to see if their names matched with their pictures or not, if they were frauds or not, essentially. And it's a really useful tool. It's not face recognition per se, but it's like pixel recognition and picture composite kind of like recognition.
Okay. Fascinating. Well, cool. Well, thanks guys for coming. Any last thoughts? No? Well, I really appreciated meeting a lot more of you. And next week we're going to be discussing the book Telethons by Paul Lagamore. It's on the history of basically charities in the United States. I don't think it just talks about the Muscular Dystrophy Association telethon. I think it does go into other types of charity telethons and like methods of raising money and things like that. So we're going to talk about that, and it's a book. It's pretty. This guy's life's work, and he died before it got published, but it was like he spent many years like working on it, and I guess it's very good. I still have to read it because of course I wait till the last minute to do these things. So I got to boogie on through and get as much as I can done. But that's what we're going to do next week. And I haven't planned any hangouts for June very much. I don't really have anything on the agenda. Oh, wait, I do. We have an assistive technology one coming up in June with Liz Prasad, who is she's an assistive technology specialist. She's really good. And Dawn actually inspired that, although we didn't move as fast as Dawn wanted us to. And so yeah, we do have the AT one coming up. And if any of you guys have any ideas or requests for Hangouts, please let me know. And I'll do the research and try to find the people. And yeah, so thanks for coming.
Thanks for hosting, Emily.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Good night.
It was nice seeing you all.
Nice seeing you. Hey, Crystal, stick around. I want to talk to you if you get a chance.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.